My name is Madison Barra, and welcome to my podcast, where it's all about teaching you how to lose weight, keep it off, and actually enjoy the process. I've lost over 70 pounds, and these are the failures and lessons I've learned along the way. Hope you enjoy and subscribe. The foundation of your fitness journey. Okay, a lot of women get this wrong. We just make up goals without thinking about it because it sounds good and we thought about it one time and we stuck with it for years. So I really want to break apart how you set your goals, and actually this process, when you do it properly, it makes your goals way more likely to happen. So now when you say a goal after this call, this goal is actually going to come to fruition. Does that sound good? This is going to tell you how to make goals come true. Cool? So you guys all know I hit over 200 pounds because I was really stressed in my life. I had a whole bunch of new responsibilities, whole bunch of bills, didn't know how to put myself first, and then I put everybody else first. And I gained 50 pounds in 1 year because of it. So I was over 200 pounds. Now, when I was over 200 pounds, I had a goal in my head, right? Think of your goal right now. What's your goal right now in your head? Put it down really quick. I want to know what your quick goal on the top of your head is, okay? Now, when I was 200 pounds, my goal was just to be 160, right? 40 pounds. I want to be 160. Because what that was going to do in my mind, 160 would be, okay, I'm going to have a little bit smaller waist. I'm going to fit back into my clothes. 160 is where I wanted to be, okay? Now, I set out on my weight loss journey, okay? I tried all these different diets. I would yo-yo up and down. And then I would eventually get to about 162. And then I would bounce between 162 to 165 to 162 to 165. I could never hit that 160 goal. It was always teasing me. Has anybody else been teased by the scale before? It's like almost there, but it's not going to let you have it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm trying. I'm going to keep trying. I'm not ready to give up. However, I'm, at 162, I'm still not 100% happy with how I look. Okay. So at 162, I still want to see some difference. So maybe I should push my goal a little bit, because even if I do hit that 160 that I'm struggling to hit, I'm still probably not going to be happy. Right. So I said, okay, I'm going to set a new goal. So my new goal was, okay, probably like another 10 pounds and I'll be happy. So 150 was my new goal in my head. Right. So I was stuck between 162 to 165, yo-yoing, still not happy. I knew that even if I broke that plateau, I still wouldn't be happy at the 160. So new goal, 150. I thought this would be a really good number. It had even more of a small waist. I could even go out and get some new smaller clothes that I didn't even have a size for yet. So I was like, cool, awesome. Guess what happened after that? I kept trying. And then I would yo-yo between 153 and 154. I was stuck there. I couldn't hit that 150, just like I couldn't hit that 160. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is really ridiculous. Like, come on. It's so freaking, like, you can taste it. You know what I mean? You're like, really, can we just, like, it's right there. So frustrating. I remember stepping on the scale day after day, trying, playing around with different things, trying to see what would actually make the scale just budge. I just needed a pound and I'd be happy, right? And so I couldn't reach this 150, right? So I had this thing where I just kept yo-yoing and my weight would get stuck and I would never quite hit my goal. I'd set my goal, I'd never quite hit it, right? And then what would happen is I'd be stuck at this plateau for so long, I'd kind of be like, okay, it's better than where I was. Maybe I'll just settle, right? And this is like my new normal. Cool. Even though I had that goal. Now, when this happened, it hit me like a ton of bricks, ladies. Something really big hit me. You ever heard the phrase, shoot for the moon? Because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. You ever hear that? Shoot for the moon. So I said, okay. It wasn't until I set my goal of hitting 150 that I actually hit my first goal of 160. If I didn't set that second goal, I never would have hit my first goal. And what that taught me is so big. And this is one of the biggest things that I need you to understand right now. Overshoot your goal. If you think you want to be 150, you want to say your goal is 130. If you think you want to break into the 100s, say 180. Because even if you miss, you still land among the stars. You are much more likely to hit that first goal if your original goal is huge. Because even if you don't reach that dream huge big goal you set, you're still gonna zoom way past that first goal that you just typed in the beginning of this chat. Does that make sense, ladies? Does that make sense? And so it wasn't until I made my goal 120 that I blew past 150. And I blew past 140. And I blew past 130. It was there all along. I just set my goal wrong. It wasn't big enough. It didn't leave enough room to dream, to put that good energy out there. It was more of, I think I can reach this. This is pretty realistic. Because I had struggled for so long, I doubted that I could do it. And so every time I set a new goal, it was worse and worse. It was settling and settling, right? My first goal, I want to lose 40 pounds and I couldn't do it. Okay, maybe 30 pounds, couldn't do it. Okay, I'd be happy with 20 pounds, couldn't do it. You know what? I really need to get this 10 pounds off. You know what I'm talking about? We discredit ourselves and we sell ourselves short. We almost dictate how our journey is and how our journey will end before we even start it, simply by having that goal in mind, that dangerous goal that's not big enough. There's no room to grow. If you just had 10 pounds to lose, I can make you lose 10 pounds in a week. But if your mind doesn't change as you lose those 10 pounds, you go right back to where you were 10 pounds ago. That's how it is. That's why we keep bouncing back. So what I want you to do, and what this is crazy part, is I want you to overshoot your goal. Whatever you just wrote in that chat of what your goal is, it needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger. And I don't know if that's scary for you. I don't know if you're like, no way, I can't. I don't know if you're like, I don't think I need more. I want it to be bigger. And one of the reasons is, like I said, energetically, it makes you way more realistic or more really able to actually hit your goal. But also, every time I look at a woman, you almost always have at least an extra 5 to 10 pounds to lose on top of your goal of actual fat that needs to go. Why is that, ladies? Because we have what's called subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is the stuff you squeeze and the stuff that jiggles that we don't like. That's the stuff that we can see go away. When we lose weight, we see the rolls decrease. We see the double chin go away, right? But your visceral fat, ladies, this is the dangerous stuff. This is the stuff that sits on your organs. It's the stuff you don't see. And so even if you hit your number on the scale, you still have more to go because there's still fat there that you can't see or grab or feel. Does that make sense? Is that making sense, ladies? And so don't sell yourself short. Have a big goal, because then you're way more likely to hit the goal you have in your mind now. And you can actually afford to lose more fat than you think. And that is the honest truth. If I told you most women that I look at who tell me they want to lose 15 pounds, they need to lose 40 at least, that's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? And they need to lose 40 for health reasons, right? Not just for aesthetics, right? When we pass the 25-pound mark on women, that's usually when you start to see the definition in the tummy, which is exciting. But also, it's not enough. There's still stuff going on in your body that you can't see. Isn't that crazy? And no one tells you this, right? We're all like, be realistic with your goal. Every single trainer and coach and program that I have ever tried, trying to lose my 80 pounds, always told me, make sure you choose a realistic goal. What does realistic mean? You can create your own reality. If you are capable of achieving that goal, you would have achieved it already. So that means the reality you're in cannot achieve that goal. So if we have to create a new reality, which right now doesn't exist, which means it's a fantasy reality, if we're going all the way to fantasy realm, you might as well go big. Does that make sense? Why not? To achieve what you haven't achieved, you need to do something you haven't done, period. And that starts with setting a goal you've never even thought of. And so I want that to become very, very clear. Okay. So even if you think you have a big goal, go bigger. What's the harm? You're already making goals from a place of scarcity. I don't think I can. Well, then what's the harm in making it even bigger? And you still don't think you can. It's just a more exciting goal, a more scary goal. Your goal should bring up emotion. Your goal should make you emotional, excitement. You're scared, you're anxious, you can't believe it, you're conflicted about it, you have doubt about it. Your goal should have a ton, and I would say all the emotions tied into it when you say it. If right now you can just say, I need to lose 20 pounds, and you can say that with a straight face, and you don't really feel some type of way about it, and if you don't lose those 20 pounds, it's not the end of the world, that's the wrong goal. Does that make sense? And what the cool thing about, taking that goal a step further, Debbie just asked a question, is you blow past wherever you plateau faster. So we all have kind of a plateau mark, right? Whether we can't get past our 5-pound mark, or we always fall off after we lose 20 pounds, or we can never break into the 100s, or we only can stay motivated for 2 months. Whatever your plateau is, the good news is when you set a bigger goal, you prolong that plateau. You prolong, or you push off that plateau rather, right? Now you're going to reach a new plateau you've never had before, because it comes in phases, right? It's not a straight line all the way to your goal, although it can be pretty close when you have the right tools, which is what we do, but it's not a straight line. So there's little sections like a staircase, right? And let's say the first 2 steps are where you always plateau. By making this goal bigger, you can almost jump over those 2 steps. So you never plateau in the same area again. You now discover a new plateau. And then we work on your mindset, bust through that, throw new tools at you, and then we keep climbing the staircase. The problem is we get stuck at the same spot in the staircase. So we want to stop climbing the staircase altogether. And sometimes we even stop short of the step we know is our plateau. We don't even make it to the plateau because we've already psyched ourselves out about going through the plateau. But plateaus are not scary, and they're not something to avoid. A plateau, all it means is I'm not learning my lesson mentally, or physically I need a new tool. That's it, ladies. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or your body. Does that make sense? And another thing, has anybody heard of SMART goals before? Has anybody heard that? Cool. Okay. So SMART goals are a good idea. Okay. However, this should not be how you determine your big goal. Okay. SMART goals are how you determine your little goals and your little milestones along the way to your big goal. Is this making sense? So a lot of the time, like every personal trainer you go to that I've been to, at least, they're always like, let's make a SMART goal. And they're kind of halfway there, but it's going to get you stuck. So SMART goal, it stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. So you break down your goal like that, right? It has to be specific. It can't be like, I want to lose weight. It has to be, I want to lose 15 pounds. It has to be measurable, right? It's not, I want to lose 15 pounds and you're not weighing yourself. You got to double check. Has to be actionable, right? It can't just be like, I want to be healthy. We don't know what being healthy means. So it has to actually be something you can act on. Realistic, right? Here's that realistic word again. For your small milestones, yes, right? If I said I want to lose 20 pounds initially, and after this call, you're like, no, holy smokes, I'm going to shoot for 40. So 40 is your big goal. What's one of the small realistic goals you can set along the way? This week, I want to lose 2 pounds. That's where the realistic comes into place. Does that make sense? We run into problem when we use that realistic for the big goal, when in reality, that's not a reality yet. So how can we make it at a reality? And then timeline, right? Put a timeline to your small goals, not that big one. Because if we focus on the small goals in between now and the big goal, we check them off faster, 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 faster. And that staircase becomes much easier to climb instead of thinking I have to jump from step 1 to the top. It's, I can double jump every now and then, and I can single step every now and then, right? So completely unrealistic for your big goal. And then the SMART goals, the specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, those are for the milestones along the way. Is that distinction clear, ladies? This was a game changer for me, and this was a game changer for all my ladies. You know, the ladies in our community, when we get them on our intensive program past the 7 days, they are reaching weights they didn't, like, from when they were in high school. Think about that. And they never, ever, ever thought ever they would get back there. Like, that's ridiculous. Leave that in the past. That's the old me. I'm never going to get there. And they're hitting these weights. They're fitting back into their wedding dresses from decades ago. Like, this stuff works when your mind expands. So much is possible. Does that make sense? Awesome. So, your homework, okay? Very simple here, but very meaningful and very powerful, okay? I want you to create your new goal. I want you to create a new goal that scares you and that you almost don't think is possible, okay? And there's 3 areas to that goal. Number 1 is the number on the scale. Number 1 is the number on the scale. What is that crazy, scary number on the scale that you never think you're going to hit? What is it? Okay. Number 2, what are the physical changes that you want to see that you thought weren't possible for you? Physical changes. So number on scale and physical changes. So what does that mean? Maybe you've had kids and a C-section and you've just completely written off ever having a flat stomach. Nope, we've done it. If you want a flat stomach, say you want it. Don't say you don't want it because you don't think it's possible. Say you don't want it because you don't want it. And if you want it, say it. Stop being scared. You definitely won't get it with that attitude. Right? So, number and physical changes that you never thought, right? Maybe you've had cellulite your whole life on your thighs. Let's get rid of it. Write it down. What is it hurting by writing it down? You already have it. You don't like it. That's at least not changing. So this is your chance. Okay. And then the third thing is, how does your life change? Because we can't be naive here and think when we're the best version of ourselves, our life looks the same. No way that's true. Why do we want to lose weight so bad? Because it's more than just physically how we feel and look. It's because our life changes along the way, right? If I threw an alcoholic into the liquor store, who's sober, they're gonna probably drink again. If we put you and your new body and your new life and your new everything into the same lifestyle, you're gonna revert back to the old you. So your life has to change, right? To some degree. What's that look like? Are you have a deeper connection with your husband? Do you like to go out with your friends more because you love getting dressed and going out now instead of hiding in clothes and not wanting to leave the house? Right? Do you go swimming more often? You love swimming, but you just avoid the pool. Can you keep up with your grandkids now? What does that look like? Did you finally get your daughter to work out with you? Like, how does your life change? So number on the scale, okay? Physical changes that you never thought of, and then the life change. How does your life change? But you are worth it, putting in energy and time. You're worth it. You are worth it. Why don't we do it? We do it for our best friends. We do it for our family. Why don't we do it for ourselves? Right? Because imagine if you were the best you, imagine how you can serve other people in your life so much better too. More patience, more confidence, a better leader. You can guide by example and people will follow you. You can be the leader of health in your life, in your house, in your family. So you throw one rock into a river, one rock, and look how much it ripples. Look how much it ripples out. That's the effect that you're going to have on the world. Not just you help a friend, the friend helps a friend, who helps a friend, who helps a friend, and indirectly you've touched 200 lives and you don't even know. One person can make a difference. Like it makes me want to cry. One person can make a difference. Don't ever think that what you do is not important. You have no idea what you're capable of. Please start believing that. And it literally all starts with expecting more and knowing you can achieve more. And that's what this call is for. Okay.
If you found this podcast valuable, I hope you can leave a 5-star review. And if you want to learn more about how to lose weight fast and for good, visit Tremera.com. Thank you for listening, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another episode.